Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of our first pre-Expo program. My name is Mahal Hamid and I work with the political affairs team here at Expo. Later on today, we will repeat all of our forthcoming sessions to allow as many participants as possible around the world to join us and benefit from what should be an informative and exciting opportunity to showcase the amazing progress that you are making in the field of space exploration and discovery. We will also hear from Expo Live grantees, the UAE Space Agency, as well as UN bodies, and will explore the journey of women in the space sector, from participation to leadership and beyond. We'll be hearing voices from all over the world, talking about out-of-this-world experiences and opportunities. So let's get started. We will open today's sessions with a series of lightning rounds, which are short talks by the Expo family on their approach to space at Expo. I would like to first welcome Luxembourg and Mark Serres, who is the CEO of the Luxembourg Space Agency. Mark will provide an overview of the nation's space policy, as well as the main objectives and mandate of the agency. Mark, over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of this program today, and I'm happy that you gave me this opportunity to tell you a little bit what happened in Luxembourg since the last 12 months. 2019 was a great year for us. We have traveled a lot, had a lot of contacts, but it was also a heavy year due to one particular big event, especially here in Europe. It was the Ministerial Council of the European Space Agency. It took us about 1 year to prepare ourselves to participate to this event. It was the opportunity to consult our ecosystem in Luxembourg and to define our priorities for the participation to the programs of the European Space Agency. At the same time, we prepared our National Action Plan, which is the document in which we define our policy in space, also our priorities, and it served as a guideline to the investment we have made during the Ministerial Council of ESA. Our priorities at this occasion were, as usual, satellite communications and the support to the development of applications using infrastructure in space and data from space. And for the first time, Luxembourg contributed to the exploration program. This is a great premiere for Luxembourg, and this is of course not a surprise for those who follow our policy. Since 2016, we are very actively engaged to promote the use of space resources, and this was of course the main driver to start being part of the exploration program of the European Space Agency. 2020 was a very particular year, as you can imagine, with the current crisis. It was a very big difference with the year before. We have really been hampered in our traveling, and our international engagement was extremely slowed down. Nevertheless, I think we have continued to support our industry, and we have continued developing new projects with them to support them in this particular difficult period. As you can imagine, all our companies have been impacted through various reasons, like launch delays, like issues on the supply chain, as well as postponements of acquisition of contracts with customers and other reasons. As an agency, we also have been impacted by the crisis due to the number of conferences and events that have been cancelled. We also had to postpone some of our events, with the consequence that our New Space Europe conference has now been postponed to next year in November 2021. This year has also been the opportunity to issue the 2020 edition of our Space Directory. The number of companies that are now registered in this directory has risen to 53 companies, and we also have 7 research labs that are now part of our Space Directory, which is a significant change since the adhesion of Luxembourg to the European Space Agency in 2005. At that time, we had only a handful of companies active in the space sector, and now with 53 companies, that means that we have about a 10 times increase in the number of companies active in space in Luxembourg. In our effort to promote the use of space data, we have set up the LSA Data Center, and we are very proud that this year we finally give access to all Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 satellite data for the community who is interested in developing applications based on Earth observation data. This year is also a great year for space resources. As announced already at the Ministerial Council of ESA, we will set up the European Space Resources Innovation Center in Luxembourg. Our objective is to have this center operational before the end of this year. ESRIC is really an important element of our strategy. We have seen with all our investigations that the research on space resources is particularly important. And so we are here creating a unique platform also to gather all the researchers and businesses that are interested in developing technologies on space resources here in Luxembourg. We are extremely happy also that ESA is a strategic partner to this center. It will give a European dimension to the center, and with this also really create a critical mass in Europe for the development and the research of space resources. Despite the difficulties to travel this year, we continued the dialogue with our international partners, and in particular, it's a pleasure to inform you that Luxembourg envisages to participate to the Artemis program of NASA. Thank you very much for this opportunity and wish you a fantastic workshop.
Thank you so much, Mark. Next, we will hear from somewhere a little closer geographically to our Expo site. Our next lightning talk is on behalf of the UAE University in Al Ain, and will discuss the UAE space sector and the role of the national space, science, and technology sector.
National Space Science and Technology Center. This is Khalid Al-Hashmi. I'm the director of the center. I will give you a little overview of the present achievement and also future plans of the NSCC. The center focuses on two types of research. Research related to academic, where we are encouraging the student at master and PhD level to undertake their thesis related to space science and technology. And also we are conducting or focusing on the research that is very dedicated to industry specific areas. The center focuses on four main areas and specialization. The first is the design and assembly, integration, and testing of satellite up to 250 kilogram. And for this particular area, we are about to commission the assembly, integration, testing facility for satellite, and which is equipped with all necessary environmental testing facility that allow us to conduct the test in the UAE without the need to send it overseas. The second area is remote sensing, which is related to Earth and planetary. In terms of planetary, we are focusing on Mars. The first project, we have just completed a national map, land cover land use map for the whole UAE, a dynamic map that will be updated on annual or every 2 years. We also become a member of the science team for the Emirates Mars mission, where we will be participating on the analytics of the data that will be received from the HOPE spacecraft next year. A new area that we are focusing and building local capability, which is related to in-space propulsion. By 2022, we will be commissioning a new laboratories related to propulsion prototype and also experimental and testing facilities. This program also will be supported by launching a minor undergraduate program in propulsion, and hopefully in the future The UE University also will launch a master and PhD program in this area. The fourth area is related to radio astronomy. Also in this month we'll be commissioning a telescope, radio telescope arrays, and by October this month, this year, and here we will get into the space situation awareness activities as well. Consultancy is another area where we provide consultancy to government entities related to space science and technology. Despite the 3 years establishment of the center, we are already very active in 3 satellites. The first satellite, which is called GNSS, is a navigation satellite, which will be launched in next year, second quarter of next year. This will be followed by another CubeSat project, which is an academic satellite project, work in coordination with the IEEE, and the second competition, the GRSS second competition, and in collaboration with other international universities where they will provide the payload, and we will build the satellite. The second satellite of GNSS will be launched by end of 2022, and then followed by the 813 satellite, which is the first Arabic satellite that will be launched early 2024. This is a quick overview of the NSSC, and now my colleague also will provide you a more detailed aspect of the NSSC activities.
Greetings everyone, my name is Hiyam Al-Belushi. I am a manufacturing, assembly, integration and testing and quality assurance engineer at NSSTC, and I'm here today to talk to you about one of the unique facilities that the NSSTC has, which is the satellite assembly, integration and testing facility. So this is basically a world-class facility designed and built to the highest standards to accommodate the AINT activities for NSSTC's projects, and to serve the center's objective to be a leading institute for space science and technology in the region. The facility is capable of building satellites up to 250 kg in weight, with the capacity of building multiple satellites at the same time. The facility will also support the students' CubeSat projects. So an interesting thing to mention here that the construction of this building started in May of 2019. And I'm very proud to tell you today that the construction will be completed by end of October of 2020. So the process took around a year to be conducted, and this basically emphasizes on the point that the NSSTC is highly committed to be a leading institute for space sciences and technologies in the region.
So my name is Shama. I'm a software engineer in NSSTC. So I'll talk about the current satellite project. The 813 satellite, it's a hyperspectral remote sensing satellite intended act as a platform of collaboration between member countries of Arab Space Cooperation Group. GNSS, radio frequency signaling technology, demonstrates satellite 6U. This satellite is part of GNSS-AS, a global navigation satellite system augmentation system program that will provide a unique opportunity for UAE to become involved in space-based GNSS technology. NSSTC is also co-developing the Geoscience and Remote Sensing Society GRSS CubeSat project that is outcome of the second GRSS Student Grant Challenge.
I'm David Gill. I'm a software engineer. In an SSTC, quality is one of our main goals. This is because if there are problems once in space, it's not possible to physically access the satellite. For this reason, we make sure that very strict quality processes apply to everything we do. This is to make sure that problems do not happen in the first place after the satellite is launched.
Done. As you all know, our Expo Live program has completed 5 grant cycles, receiving more than 11,000 applications from 182 countries, and is now funding 140 social innovators based in 76 countries and across 14 sectors. One of those grantees is the Land Life Company, which was founded in the Netherlands in 2013 on the idea that a business approach and the intelligent application of technology can drive innovation to restore nature in our lifetime. Land Life was part of the initial cohort of Expo Live, joining the Expo Live community in 2017, and since then, we have supported Land Life in growing and scaling its activities in Zambia, Spain, and the United States. To tell you more about what they do, please welcome Arnoud Asjes.
Hi everybody, my name is Arnoud Asjes and I'm CTO for Land Life Company. Land Life Company was founded 7 years ago with the mission to restore 2 billion hectares of degraded land. That's a huge goal because that's around the land mass of China and the US put together. So a very ambitious, large goal. From our offices in Amsterdam, Spain and the US, we work all over the world to reforest land lost to wildfires, urbanization, logging, overfarming, and of course climate change. In those projects, we support biodiversity, we boost local communities, and we help achieve the SDGs set out by the UN. Obviously, this presentation is to tell you about satellite and space work with a tree planting company. We are a very data-driven company, so we use a lot of data in our planting, and we do that to reduce cost of the planting, to increase the scale of planting, and to get better at what we do, basically. Every Land Life project has the same 3 phases: a design phase, a planting phase, and a monitoring phase. And I'll show you in the next slide how satellite information and therefore space are used in each of these areas. What is important is that this is a continuous improvement loop. So each phase ties into the next one, and every year or every planting season that we apply it, we get better at what we do and we gather more information. So in the design phase, we use satellite for very basic things like topography, so looking at the boundary of a site, and looking at the slopiness of the site. So we make digital terrain models to look at what kind of machines can we use here to plant trees, or should we do this manually or a combination thereof. But we also use it to look at climate. So obviously satellite information gives us hindsight, so we can go back 30, 40 years. But also, let's say, with weather information, we can look at the future a little bit and determine, can we increase the planting window for this site? So we apply it also to soil and water data if we can find it, but also look at adjacent vegetation. So what kind of species are there naturally? What has the site been used for in the past? And what potential carbon stocks are there around this site? At the end of the design phase, we want a blueprint for planting. So what species are we going to plant? Is it going to be in rows or in clusters? What is the optimal density that we plant in? What is the optimal planting window we want to plant? Is it 2 months or 3 months? And again, tying into that weather information. And the design itself. So do we need to terrace? Do we need to increase the water holding capacity of the site? The next phase, so with that blueprint, we go into the next phase, which is the planting phase. Now here space plays a very important role, but it's relatively simple to explain because we basically use the GNSS system. So if it's a mechanical planting, we use it for the guidance system, for instance. But also manual planters use it on a handheld device to determine what tree goes in what location. The last phase is the monitoring phase. So here what we really try to do as Land Life is to follow a seed to a full-grown tree and follow it through that life cycle to see what kind of effect weather has on it, what kind of effect the south-facing slope compared to a north-facing slope has. Obviously species compared to the exact location. So we use, again, the GPS system on our ground-based proprietary monitoring app, which we get a representative sample into our database, which we then follow and calibrate with the drone and the satellite. As you can see, satellite is about 80% of the tracking itself, but we really can follow that tree throughout its lifetime, because the GPS nowadays, we can get it at under 50 centimeters of accuracy and really follow that tree throughout its lifetime, because on the basis we put in the database the height, the exact GPS, the species, and the vigor, so the growth strength of a tree. And that is what we track over time. In the end, as land life, we don't want to plant trees, we really want to grow trees and give a tree everything in its surrounding to be a healthy, high survival rate tree in a mixed species system. So as you can see on this picture, this is a 3D model of a site in northern Spain. And as an example, there's one tree in there. As you can imagine, with a large representative sample, we really can get a lot of data, apply machine learning, artificial intelligence on that, but also answer simple questions like, should we plant these mountain ashes on a north-facing slope, for instance? And that over time will help us get better at what we do. And again, lower the cost, increase the scale, increase the survival rate of a tree, and hopefully make the world a greener place. So thank you for listening to this presentation, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Arnaud. I think we can all get on board with that goal of making the world a greener place. And now, to discuss Italy's leadership and innovation across the space technology sector, I would like to welcome Riccardo Fraccaro, Undersecretary of Italian State to the Presidency of the Council of Ministers with responsibility for the aerospace sector.
Expo 2020 Dubai will open its doors on the 1st of October 2021. It will be one of the major events of the COVID-19 outbreak. During this pandemic period, we have noted the importance of digital and data technologies, showing the power of innovation. The space and its technologies have been exploited in response to the urgent needs of citizens and institutions during the emergency, with a focus on healthcare and education. Innovation and sustainability are the basis of the space economy, and the Expo will be a platform to evaluate the progress made and lay the groundwork for new steps forward in global collaboration among governments, companies, universities, and research centers. This is a great opportunity to show the world the concrete and sustainable solutions and services involving in space technologies for specific application in navigation, telecommunication, and Earth and sea observation fields. I am very pleased to announce that in Dubai, new Italian technologies and products will be shown. Leonardo company will introduce the atomic clock that marks time through the resonance frequency of an atom, and the drill from the ExoMars 2020 mission, where Italy will be protagonist. The mission will be crucial to maintain our country's leadership in a key sector for economic and social development. At Dubai 2020, Italy will be proud to show to the world its excellence, especially in the space sector, and it's ready to demonstrate that beauty connects people.
My name is Giuseppe Sala. I'm the head of the Department of Aerospace Science and Technology at Politecnico di Milano in Italy. And I contributed to set up the aerospace section at Italian Pavilion Expo Dubai. There we have collected the most significant development of Italian technology in the field of space and aeronautics. You will have the opportunity to see closely, among the others, for example, to the plant able to transform regolite, that is the sand covering the planet surface, into drinkable water, or the apparatus able to capture space debris that now fill the space and produce dangerous collision, or the atomic clock, the most accurate clock ever made, accumulating just one error of 1 second every 3 million years, or in the field of aircraft, of atmospheric aircraft, to the tilt rotor, a magic machine able to transform in flight from an helicopter to an aircraft, and so exploiting the best performances of both. Beside the initiative within the frame of a Belt and Road Alliance will be presented, aimed to strengthen the relationship, the scientific relationship among China, Middle East and Mediterranean countries.
I am Maria Cristina De Santis. I'm a planetary scientist and expert in the field of aerospace. I am located in Rome at the Istituto Nazionale di Astrofisica, and I'm an expert of space mission for the exploration of the solar system. I am deeply involved in ExoMars mission. ExoMars is a mission of the European Space Agency made with the collaboration of the Russian Space Agency. And this mission consists of a rover with a drill. I am responsible of an instrument inside the drill tip that is called MAVIS and will give us information about the subsurface composition of the Martian layers. This instrument, as well as the drill of ExoMars, are Italian instruments because both have been done by Italian industry and Italian scientists. Space missions, as well as scientific instruments, are a clear example of collaborative effort among different countries, different people and different cultures. It's something similar to what happened in Expo 2020 in Dubai, where there is a collaboration in the field of aerospace among different nations.
Hi everyone, I'm Lorenzo Ghettini, a 19-year-old guy studying aerospace engineering at Politecnico di Milano, one of the 51 members of peer mentoring program of the Italian pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai. I'm really happy that Italy has chosen space research as one of the unifying themes of its participation at the next Universal exhibition, placing particular emphasis on young people. Let's think about it. Who today is a pioneer of sustainable space exploration, does not merely act for himself, but acts with an eye to future generations, leaving to the world not something to restore, but a point from which keep on researching. And so my invitation is to work all together in an intergenerational dialogue process to bring these issues, these challenges, closer and closer to the youngest, the people who will have to succeed to those who today are committed to broaden the frontiers of exploration. I like to think that this will also be Italy's mission in its approach to Expo and during the months of the Universal exhibition.
Finally, for this year's series of lightning rounds, I would like to welcome Ammar Salem Al-Rawahi, Chairman of the Oman Astronomical Society. Ammar, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ammar Al-Rawahi. Today we'll talk about the achievements in astronomical and space sector here in Oman. In February 2018, Oman has hosted Amadi 18, a highly international Mars analog field simulation in the Dhofar region, represented by Oman Astronomical Society in partnership with the Australian Space Forum and other entities here in Oman for 1 month. The team conducted approximately 15 experiments selected from over 30 proposals from different countries, including Oman. Oman has proposed 3 research proposals, and the team selected one of them. It was about water explorer, proposed by junior researchers from high school students. Oman was selected to host this simulation due to its special landscape, which is similar to Mars. Oman has high potentials in developing the astronomical and space sector in the country, as its location, topography, and national human capital can provide an exceptional character in the region. In astronomical perspective, since centuries, Oman has a solid history of using astronomical applications in life practices, such as navigating, using the stars to know the directions while traveling, determine entering the seasons, etc., etc. In addition, Oman has a large ancient archive which was documented over centuries in astronomical manuscripts. Due to that, Oman has well established the astronomical technologies and observatories ahead of establishing space sector to ensure building this sector in a proper manner. More than 2 decades, Oman has proved as one of the best Islamic countries in moon sighting observation by building several observatories and providing more than 25 portable telescopes and observatories in most regions in the country, which operated and managed by Astronomical Affairs Department. Recently, some of these observatories have been enhanced by using advanced technologies and by introducing AI-based software in crescent astrophotography within seconds. Hence, currently, the government is aiming to develop the space sector by establishing different entities and initiatives to execute projects related to first Oman Satellite project and other programs in space technologies through the National Space and Advanced Technology Center reported to Ministry of Transportation, Telecommunication and Information Technology, Space Communication Technologies Company, and Astronomical and Space Technologies Division at International Emerging Technology Company, Expo. Oman Astronomical Society has a space program committee. This committee is working to raise the capabilities in the field of space and space technologies through different programs locally and internationally. Recently, 2 programs were conducted with universities in Japan and USA on building CubeSats. In summary, many scholars have affirmed that astronomers and amateurs in astronomy are the drivers of space sector, as they are more interested in space exploration, space technology, and universe in general. Vice versa, specialists in telecommunication and technology involved in implementing space and satellite programs are not necessarily interested in space science and astronomy. For that, we can say that Oman has successfully established a base of human capacity interested in astronomy and space as a science. They say that we all originated from cosmic dust. Since our early civilizations in this region, we have always been looking up to the heaven and the stars in the aim to understand our origins, where we came from. So it seems that it is our destiny to continue the legacy of our ancestors in this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our speakers and our audience. We will recommence in 20 minutes with our first of 2 panel discussions for today, which will focus on the UAE space landscape. See you then.